but I certainly enjoyed acting like God existed. It was kind of like having your cake and eating it too, right? I knew God didn't exist, but I could play along like he did and kind of live this little fairy tale. And then I went on this trip to visit a friend in Sacramento, about 5 hours north of us. And he's an atheist friend of mine who had also lost his faith. And he basically told me I was being ridiculous. He told me in very straight terms that this is like a joke, that I'm actually living this out. He said, I'm an atheist, and I accept there's no meaning, value, and purpose. And then I proceed to make it up. You're an atheist, but you assume God exists, and then you just make up your own meaning, value, and purpose. And he's like, what's the point? Why add in that extra step? Why don't you just bite the bullet and accept there's no meaning, value, and purpose? Just make it up and live that way. And for the 5-hour drive home, I thought a lot about this. I thought he was right. I was being ridiculous. But I really liked living as though meaning, value, and purpose existed. And I didn't want to accept the reality that there was no meaning or value or purpose to this life. Because I was experiencing the truth that there is meaning and there is value and there's purpose. He was kind of stealing away what I had, in a silly little way, created. And so after years of living as though there was meaning, value, and purpose, I had real trouble denying that there actually was and accepting the atheism that I that I really believed was true. And I had an epiphany. Maybe it's all real. Maybe these daily experiences of meaning and value and purpose that are happening all around me are valid ways to conclude what the axioms should be. Maybe the day in and day out love I have for my family and my wife and my students and others, those experiences are valid ways to formulate axioms. And I had got to the place where I realized I have to choose some axioms, and you sort of just choose them, right? I was like, why aren't I choosing to accept what's obvious, which is there is meaning and value and purpose? I started to realize I was denying my experience, that my atheism was denying my daily moment by moment experience. And I sort of put it all together and I said, of course, it's real. And if I came up with an axiom around that time, which was something like this: so what I'm experiencing right now has some connection to what's real. It may seem like a baby axiom to you, but for me, it was a big deal. What I'm experiencing right now has some connection to what's real. And if that's true, then the love I have for my wife is real, and the love I have for my children is real. And these day in and day encounters of meaning and value and purpose, that's all real. And I begin to settle into like, wait a minute, this is all real. Now, if meaning and value and purpose are real, I see no other way to get there unless there's a God somewhere in the mix. So I accepted God exists because this world is so meaningful, and I could no longer deny the meaningfulness. For those 10 years, I was trying to really believe there was no meaning, value, and purpose, but I knew it wasn't true. And having experienced that, it wasn't true.